Welcome to Galactic Grandmother, Heart to Heart. My name is April, and my special guest today is Elana. Elana has a successful YouTube channel called Searchlight Tarot. And the reason it's so popular is because her readings are so accurate. She, by her own admission, reads the cards using her feelings, and she is totally tuned in intuitively and with her psychic senses. I just listened to my reading last night as being a Taurus. I couldn't believe it. It was like it was a personal reading, although I know it was for the collective. So I'm very excited to welcome you, Elana. Thank you for taking the time to be on.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Hi, April.
Hi.
For those people who don't know, April was actually one of my mother's students.
Uh,
And I haven't talked to April and I don't know, I talked to you about 6 months ago. We were trying to set something up. You reached out. It was bad timing for both of us. And then you reached out again and we talked. And so my mother was a master metaphysical teacher. My whole upbringing has been a wild ride of self-learning, self-growth, and raising my own consciousness. And she taught this to other people. And April was one of her students. So I do mention it in my videos, and a lot of people want to know about my upbringing and who my mother was. I prefer not to mention her name only for privacy reasons for myself. Now, for the people viewing me right now and wanting to know about my upbringing and how it all started and how to tap into your own inner growth, we're going to begin this journey, and April's going to interview me the right way.
that was lovely. And I will just say I was Elena's mother's student for 12 years. She was amazing. I, of course, was divinely guided to her, and she gave classes on absolutely everything under the sun. One of her core values was that you needed to unlearn basically all your conditioning to get down to your authentic self. And
Core values, yes.
right. And I can't say enough about her. Today is her birthday.
Right. This is so unusual. We didn't even realize what date it was. And
Right.
my mother was a double Leo. So, this is just unusual how this all landed on this day. And I do feel that this is being divinely guided. And we are here today to spread some consciousness, awakenings, and understandings, what kind of tarot I teach and why I teach it. And not teach it, but teach people that there's something bigger out there. It's like we're in the age of Aquarius right now for 2,000 years. It is to raise our consciousness. We are supposed to get to the 5D. We're going through the 4D. And there's, and what's going on in the world today is I try to bring this up and I don't like to bring it up, but everybody's having an awakening about how corrupt and unjust everything is.
Right.
And the people who have been doing the inner work, it's now time to raise our consciousness about our own self, our true self, our authentic self, and raising our vibration. And remember to always help other people in a beautiful way without expecting anything in return.
Beautiful. Beautiful. What a wonderful way to start. Now, after having talked about your mother, it must have been almost a wild ride because your mom, being a double Leo, she did not mess around in her classes. She called out BS. She called everything out, and you couldn't, I mean, she just told you the way it was. So I can only imagine what growing up with your mother, this fabulous metaphysical teacher, would be like. Can you give us a little background on maybe your childhood or how she influenced your spiritual journey to where you are today?
Absolutely. So when my mother first started out, I was very young, and we're talking back when I was probably 6, 7, 8 years old. And she used to give psychic readings in the house, and she would use a crystal ball and she would do psychic readings. And she actually did a lot of readings for a lot of people that were quite famous. And her powerful insights really taught me something about my own inner growth. But the way I was raised was she was always planting seeds, never told me how to live my life, never told me what to do, but she would always plant seeds of the circumstances and choices that I am making. So I would go into her room when I was a little girl, And I was probably, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, I don't even remember, but she had a crystal ball and I would go over there and I put my hands around it and she would freak out. She would just get away from there now. She ended up getting rid of the crystal ball. And as I developed, because my first real experience when I was about 8 or 9 years old, I was in my room playing. And she always told me, you have a gift, you have a gift, you have a gift. You don't even know about your gift yet, but you have a gift. And I'm like, what gift? Like, is there something in the garage? Or, what are you hiding from me? Is there a gift? But I learned, it grew.
Yeah.
My first experience, and this is where it all happened. And I was in my room playing by myself. And this is when I realized what she was talking about. And that I'll go into it. So I was playing with my dolls and I was by myself. And I'll never forget it for as long as I live. I started hearing a hello, like hello. And now I'm a little girl, and I'm in my own little room just playing. And then probably a couple seconds later, I said, hey there, I heard, hey there. And then I heard the hello. And then, hey, can you hear me? Hello, 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 hello. It was like one voice after another. The back of my hair on my neck was standing up. I'm a little girl. I screamed and I threw my dolls down and I went running out of my room. And my mother, she's like, oh my God, what's wrong? Because I'm her cub. She's like, what's going on? And I said, there's people in my room, Mom. They're all yelling at me. They're screaming at me. They're trying to talk to me. And she just smiled. She grabbed my hand and she said, come with me. She sat me on the bed and she held my hand and she said, this is the gift I've been trying to explain to you. You have a gift. You have a gift. You're open to hear and help people. This is your gift. And what right now is going on is you have, like, let's pretend like you have a present and there's a bunch of paper wrapping around the present. And every so often a layer is going to come off. So right now, this is your first layer. It's an awakening. It's the veil starting to come off. And this is what I want you to do. She said, you have nothing to be afraid of. All you have to do is keep envisioning a white light around you and keep envisioning that you're protected in this giant white light and nobody can break your barrier. That was my first experience. I mean, I was just in awe. And then over the years, things kept happening, and it wasn't like it all just came at once. It was like layers. And then I think my big second experience was I was 17 years old. So in that time, I was growing up and I realized when I started to feel weird, I just had to keep envisioning this giant white light around me. This is when the dream precognition started happening, and I was sleeping during the day. I was just so tired. I fell asleep, and I lived on a hill, and you can see the street that was coming up and down the hill. And in my dream, this was my first precognited dream. I'll never forget it. I saw a green car coming down the hill, and I saw this guy's foot on the brake, and he was trying to stop it. He just kept pounding it. And I saw this big truck coming up the hill, and I woke up. And I felt this panic, like this, oh my God, oh my God. It just hit me so hard. I went out on my porch and I was just trying to, like, what the hell did I dream about? And in front of me, in my eyes, I saw a green car. And the green car was coming down the hill and they were honking their horn. And then I looked to my left and I saw that big white truck that was coming up the hill. But within a matter of 10 seconds, the green car and the truck hit and the person in the green car passed away.
Oh,
So it was devastation for me from that moment on. And from then on, I've had precognitive dreams, knowing that I see certain things before they happen and understanding how to handle it and understanding the messages behind it.
oh, I just got chills up and down my legs from that story.
Oh, there's more. I mean, I've lived in a haunted house. I have had so many layers have been peeled back from me myself. But you see, when we have an ability, whether it be a healer, a psychic, a true psychic, because so many people are claiming to be, these, and they really don't have, your spirit guides are not going to just tear it apart
Right.
and give you everything at once. They have to condition you for things.
Mm-hmm.
Because now where I'm at in my life, I'm so older that I've been so conditioned from so many experiences that I've had that I'm a ball of strength. But for people who try to open their third eye and do things out of the, that they shouldn't be doing, you're bringing on a lot more on yourself than you're ready to handle.
Right. Right. We just have to have faith that we're being guided by our higher consciousness, who's going to give us what we need at the perfect time.
Correct. Now that I look back at my whole life journey, my path, because when I was 17 years old, I went out and I was so fascinated with astrology. And I'm not talking about reading the stars and the moons, but love signs and getting to know people by their astrological signs. And so I went out and bought the Linda Goodman's Love Astrology Signs. I was so
Okay.
curious about it. But this is where my path started without it, with everything else. So, and people want to know how I got on YouTube and how, but it started at such an early age because I read that book 10 times front and back. And when I would meet people, I would always ask them, so when is your birth date? I'm an Aquarius for those people who don't know me. And now pretty much I can get to know somebody, and not all the time am I right, but I always can sense something about them. And then my whole journey, my mom handed me my first tarot deck when I was, I think, 26. And she said, she handed me the Rider Waite in a box. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't know. And I'm like looking at it. And I'll never forget it. And my sister was sitting there. I have an older sister, and she's a Scorpio. And she said, oh, I want a reading. And I looked at my mom and said, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And she goes, just go ahead, give your sister a reading. And I will never forget it. I was sitting at the table and I'm shuffling the cards, and not like I shuffle today, just normal shuffling. I cut the deck and I started pulling cards out. And I'll never forget the first card I pulled out was the death card, Scorpio. I had no idea what it meant. And my sister said to me, oh my God, am I dying? And I looked at her and I said, no, you're not dying, but a part of you is. A part of you is dying that you need to change. I'm like 26 years old. So that was my first introduction to tarot. Oh, and I played with it over the years, but I really didn't jump into it full time probably until my 40s. And I'm 62 now for people who don't know.
No way. Oh,
Okay, all right, let's talk about age in April.
I mean,
What
I'm
age?
74.
There you go.
Honestly thought, honestly, you were about 45. Like my daughter's
At
age.
heart, I'm
I don't know why.
25. Our heart is what keeps us young.
Yeah, the
We tell
energy.
people every day, laugh, love, live, show love, give love, pay it forward to people for generosity. I said, you will always remain young at heart, and it'll show out upon you. It's the energy how you, what your essence is inside is
Right,
what you see on the outside.
right.
This is all an illusion.
Uh-huh. Yes. I just have a little explanation I need because it seems to me the really good tarot readers that I've observed are really connected into astrology. What is the correlation there between astrology and the tarot cards or oracle decks?
Okay. So you're a Taurus. Okay. So when I read for somebody, and I've done many personal readings, I only do my repeat clients now because they do drain me, because I know some of my subs are going to ask for a reading. Right now, I'm taking a major time out from it. I always ask what day and month they were born so I can start to get into their energies, because let's face it, earth, water, air, and fire are all very different elements. So I need to start to feel where they're at in life. So if I'm giving a reading to somebody and they tell me a Taurus, okay, I'm dealing with an earth sign. I'm dealing with your major arcana, which is your essence, which is the Hierophant. That's why, to me, I study Western astrology, and I know some people who do Vedic, but I'm not into that because that would mean I'm a Capricorn. I'm too mental to be a Capricorn. I'm all Aquarius. So for me, that's my belief system. We all have our own belief system.
Mhm.
But I need to get into your earth energy in order to start reading for you, because when I give readings, I only do face to face. And that's when I start to tap into your own energy and what's around you.
Mhm. Awesome. Okay.
It has to all correlate, because if I don't know what sign you are and I'm trying to give a reading to someone, and I need to know where your basic, okay, the cross that you bear. You're a Taurus. The cross that you bear is the Hierophant: commitment, loyalty, tradition. The cross I bear is the star, the healer, the sense of renewal, giving people love and faith and hope again, because I'm the card after the tower. Your energy is to teach people about their own commitment, faith, and loyalty, and that's the cross that you bear that you must carry. Your whole lesson, if I was just to go by what I'm feeling right now with you,
Uh-huh.
this lesson in life was about your own commitment and faith to your tradition of what you wanted in life. Meaning, like, if you kept settling for less than what you wanted, you were never going to feel whole. You were
Oh,
never going to feel like your true core of who you really are, which
mhm.
is the Hierophant, and that is the giant teacher of commitment, faith, and loyalty.
So that's definitely my cross to bear was getting to recognize and accept my own authentic self and not be swayed by outside values.
Desires, lust, things that we think we want that really aren't healthy for us. But your true core, your whole essence, April, is about tradition. And your number one thing in life is loyalty. If somebody's not loyal to you, you're very disillusioned and very disappointed. It's really like, wow. For me, I'm air Aquarius, I'm air, I'm a star. I'm like, like I just zoom, I'm out. Where it really, it's like your earth, so you're affected by it.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. That really clears that up for me. I did recognize it. Just seems like the really good tarot readers are as much tuned into astrology as they are their cards.
Okay, and let's talk about tarot readers, astrology, and energies, because this is, I don't watch other tarot readers on YouTube, and I'm not here to belittle anybody. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody. I'm just a grain of sand among the beach. And every day I do a tarot reading, because how I ended up on tarot on YouTube is I do not do social media. I was really like, I'm going to go over that in a minute, but there's so much good that can be done on these platforms. And I just kind of feel that it's gotten to the point where everybody's searching for something, whether it's about a love relationship or a family member, or why am I feeling this way, or why isn't things changing in my life. And a really good intuitive tarot reader can give you some signs of about your own consciousness and your own inner growth. And it's to be used in the right form of divination.
Another tool to tap into our broader awareness, the higher consciousness.
That's right.
Now, you started to talk about how you got into your YouTube channel.
Okay.
We know you don't do social media. If anyone looks on Facebook or Instagram, you're not going to find Elana.
If you get a thing from somebody on TikTok, it's not me. I don't do it. All right, here we go. This is going to be this can be a book, because this is how wicked this is. And I don't mean wicked like in a bad way, but it was unreal. It was 2020, and it was right after it was COVID, and a lot of people were out, it was just, I had a dream. Okay. The dream happened in September of 2020, and the dream was so vivid, so precognited, but I didn't understand what it meant, because I was doing a lot of tarot, meaning I had so much time on my hands, and I was going over friends' house, giving tarot readings to everybody, and everybody kept saying, wow, wow. And even the non-believers, and it was so great. I would tell them to hold the deck in their hands, ask a question, do not tell me the question. And I would give them a reading. And by the end of the reading, their mouths were open, and they looked at me and said, oh my God. So I had a dream. And in the dream, I was on my bed, and I was doing a tarot spread. And let me just say one thing before this. I don't know how many people have ever seen the Queen's Gambit, where she was playing chess on the ceiling, because she was a master chess player. Do you know that years and years and years before I had this dream, I was always had a tarot deck in my hands, or by my bed, I was always doing tarot, whether for me or other people. And that every night when I was at bed, my mind was spreads. And I would always hear, and what do you see? And it was just kind of like years and years and years of conditioning. So when I saw the Queen's Gambit, I was like, so I had this dream, and the dream was I was sitting on my bed, I was doing a tarot. It was so colorful. It was so real. And I'm flipping over cards, and I was looking at everything, and I went down to go grab my deck, and I went down to look at it, and it was lit up in this giant golden light. And I woke up, and I thought, oh my God, I can't even express, you guys, the feeling that it was just like, I cannot express that light. It was, and something I've never seen before. And so after the dream, it just drained me. It was like, what is it trying to tell me? So the weeks that followed, I kept giving people readings over my friend's house, because she had a pool. When we're doing, it was that COVID year and people just kept just saying, oh my God. So finally, a few people started saying, have you ever thought about doing this on YouTube? And I thought, nah, I don't do social media. And my best friend said, you know what, why don't you just open a page? 5 of us will subscribe. I just get out there and just have some fun with it, because we want to tune in and watch our readings every week. So I opened it up November 1st, 2020. I kept saying, what am I going to do? What am I supposed to do? And I just kept hearing this voice, just have fun with it right now. Just just have fun. Know that the 5 people that are subscribed to your channel are watching you, their friends. Give them readings. Have fun with it. 3 months later, I had enough subscribers, and I was not chasing after it. It was not something I was going after because I was working too at that time at night. And 3 months later, it said, congratulations, you can now monetize your channel. And I thought,
Whoa.
so I monetized that. And then, so here I am 3.5 years later, and I do not ask people to subscribe to my channel. I figure, and I noticed that over the years, my readings now become so channeled that the back of my neck hurts so bad. And when I rewatch these readings now, because I've evolved over the years, I'm so drained. And when I rewatch them, I can't even believe half the stuff I'm saying. It is not me.
Mm-hmm.
There have been many, many things flying in the background of my readings. People have seen or, and not all the readings, but sometimes when there's a certain message, just out of nowhere, you will see an aura fly by. I seen it. I watch them. I see things in this room that are very unusual. And I'm like, this room has a lot of high vibration in it, and it's always cleansed and always left in a beautiful energy. And so that whole journey from the minute I had my first experience as a child to everything through the years just kept, it was just like, if I look back now, it was just like, it was already written.
The galactic grandmother, I woke up one morning being told I'm a galactic grandmother. And the first thing I said was, what is a galactic grandmother? And the answer was a purveyor of galactic truths.
Yeah, I like that.
And my whole, come to find out, I have a soul contract for this latter part of my life now to do exactly what you're doing, to assist others to raise their own consciousness, to move us into this new higher frequency.
And people will understand that we're all here. We all have a mission for a wake up call, and we are the baby boomers to get everybody up and running for the next generation. What I want to do, and what my gut and my whole essence is about, if I can touch one soul about an awakening about their own inner self and their own strength and recovering from pain and hurt and knowing that there's something bigger and better out there, because there is, and wake up one person's consciousness and to help the people that are already on the path, because we're all here to help each other grow, then my job is done.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's from
And
my heart.
that's no doubt your energy's in resonance with people that they're just drawn to you for that very reason.
Yeah, it's so weird because when I was doing it all by myself. I taught myself everything. I knew nothing about how to upload or how to teach, but it was all there. It was all, and everything that I needed came to me. Like when I started doing things, a door would open and somebody would walk in my life. Oh, I can show you how to do that. So it was like everybody was planted in my life. And then I just realized that, there's something bigger here, and I'm just going with it. And I don't care that people believe me or not, but this is all about our true essence and waking our consciousness up. There's a reason we're in the age of Aquarius for the next 2000 years. And there's a reason I'm an Aquarius doing this. And I'm not saying that any sign can do this, but it's all about the higher evolution of mankind. And our soul is here to learn and grow. And I don't want to come back and relive this 3D lifetime. So I'm very conscientious of my actions today, because I don't want to come back and repay it for tomorrow in another lifetime.
And that kind of brings me to what kind of energies are you feeling for the collective consciousness coming up kind of in the next 3 to 6 months? Because I know I've certainly been feeling a lot of energies coming into my life and causing a lot of what you might say
Upheavals.
disruptions.
I call them upheavals. I know what's coming down in the next 6 months, and I'm not here to scare anybody. I want to tell everybody that you're all protected, and remember to love yourself and the people that you love, and always surround yourself in a white light and your home in a white light. But everybody is already having the awakening of how corrupt this world is, and that there is a separation between good and evil, and that it's time now to focus on the things that are most important to us. And that's about our own inner growth and development and spreading it to other people. And I think in the next 6 months, more people are going to have wake-up calls about something in their life that needs drastic change. I will tell you what scares me more than anything. and I felt it from day one when it came out, is AI technology. It
Mhm.
doesn't scare me as in all the good it's going to do for the world, but it scares me in the hands that it's going to land into. But it's a divine plan that's already in order for a separation that is inevitably going to happen. And the AI technology is definitely a place of advancement for the world, but there's so many corrupt people and how they're going to use it. And I fear what it's going to do to a lot of people's lives. So don't be freaking out, people. I know I can hear you all right now. Oh my God. Do not do what is right in your life. Stay true to yourself.
Mhm.
Let it play out how it may, because it's already something that's supposed to be divinely guided, and there's something here bigger than we can't see right now. But I do feel that the corruption in the government and all over the world, not just the US,
Right.
is a wake-up call to everybody that there's something in this world that's been really out of whack for far too long. And this is my biggest message to everyone. I want to say something, and I try to help everybody. There's someone every day I try to help, whether it be a friend or somebody I've given readings to. And now there's some people I give free readings to now because they're in such a bad, dire strait of life that I just want to help them through a hard time. And they say to me, "How can I ever pay you back?" This is what I tell people: pay it forward when you can,
Mm.
because I'm helping you for one day you're going to be helping somebody else. And if people can just remember this, that if we can all just help everybody just a little bit every day with compassion, understanding, making somebody smile, listening to them, giving them, planting some seeds of advice of what we've been through in life to make us stronger and better. You're
Right.
helping the individual, and one day they'll help somebody else.
And that's why I think that hearing your own personal journey is so important for people, because a lot of people can identify, and it gives food for thought to others that don't. I think number one, if they're listening to your channel or my channel, they're already wanting answers. They're already probably looking within themselves for those answers as well.
Here it comes. Are you ready? And I'm
Mhm.
going to say it because it almost sounds like my mom's yelling through me. We all have the ability to change our lives. You've gone through things in life that have, everybody's childhood and upbringing and things in life are all different. There's a reason we had karmic debt. We had lessons to learn about our own strength. We had things we had to overcome. I get comments sometimes that say, nothing in my life changes. These readings don't make any sense. My biggest thing to say to these people are, what are you doing to change it? Are you
Mhm.
doing the inner work? Are
Mhm.
you raising your consciousness?
And I think some people just starting out, they say, they hear people like us saying, do the inner work. Can we give them a little assistance, a little guidance about
Love
what?
to. Would love to. And this is a lesson I had to learn. This was not an easy journey. This isn't something that I just woke up one day and said, "Oh, I got this." It's years of realizing there's certain situations in your life that you should not be tolerating. There's relationships. Are they hurting you in some way, verbally, physically, mentally? Are there things in your life that are corrupt and unjust that you're settling for? Are there things in your life that you keep feeling you keep hitting a brick wall? Then it's time for you to do some inner work about the things in life that you truly want and raise your own vibration and watch what you attract. And the inner work, and it's like, well, I don't want to be alone. I think being alone is beautiful. Doesn't mean you're lonely.
Right.
Because when you finally come into an energy, and that's what happened to me, I finally got so tired of all the bullshit I kept attracting. This is where I started doing a lot of inner work. I said, you know what? I'm good alone. I don't want no more. And when I did the inner work and I just started being happy for the day and being around the people that I love and just being happy to buy myself flowers or, go out with a friend for dinner or whatever, I attracted somebody in my life of an abundant vibration. And this is how it happens out of nowhere. I was not looking for it. It came to me.
Mhm.
I never thought I would have a relationship again in my life because I was like, I'm not settling. I'm not settling. And there it is. I'm not settling.
Mhm.
Know your self-worth. Stop selling yourself short. Just because it doesn't come this year doesn't mean it's not going to come next. You never know what's waiting for you around the corner. I'm sorry, I'm going on. I know I preach. I
No,
preach my
no,
channel.
love it. Preach it, sister. Well, I think the old adage of you have to be happy with yourself and you have to love yourself. I know it sounds so cliche, but that's the truth. And sometimes, and in my own life, from 2013 to 2022, I completely withdrew from being in love relationships, romantic relationships, and
Right.
built my life in a way that I was just like you. I was so happy and I was doing the inner work. And during that time is when my own higher consciousness, my main guide, made direct contact.
Well, and you attracted a higher vibration of love. And I want people to know that April is in a beautiful relationship now. And so am I. And we're both older women. So I don't want to hear the older women say, oh, I'm too old now. I do not like that adage. There's no age on love. There's
No,
no such thing. I do not ever want anyone to settle for someone who is taking advantage of you, settling for less. You hold out for what you want. I promise you, you will attract that person.
right. And I was 72 when love came knocking on my door. So I'm
April. Are you
I,
ready?
well, actually, in meditation about a year and a half prior, I was told it's time. It's time to get back into a relationship. And I said, well, I'm not going out looking.
Yes.
You're going to have
No.
to bring them to my, right here.
Yeah. Now mine just walked into my door, but there's one thing I do want to say to people, and I want to ask people that I understand that we can't always meditate every day, and we can't always be in this like, no, we cannot. But sometimes when you're in a place of relaxation, no matter where it is, sitting in your backyard in the sun, I would love everybody if they can find their own space and envision the life that they would love to live and keep envisioning it, because everything that I envisioned 20 years ago for myself, I have. So I never thought I would get it, but slowly it just kept coming into my life one by one. And we have big Lionsgate here on 8/8. And this is a huge time, everyone. This is the time for our own manifestations of what we want to create in the next 6 months to year. So even if it's one thing that you attract your way, this is the time to start pulling it in. Actually, Lionsgate starts today, but it's official 8/8.
Wow. So thank you.
All
Thank you
right.
to your mama for, I really think she helped guided this whole thing with the perfect energies, of
And
course, and our own hires.
right. And I do want to say something about, I think we were talking about how people can tone into their psychic ability. And I just want to say the biggest key to becoming really psychic and more psychic is trusting your own self and listening to what you feel. And a lot of people don't do it. Like they're invited somewhere and their inner gut saying, I don't really want to go. I don't want to go. Or there's a part of them saying, God, I can't wait for that moment. If you would just constantly listen to that and tune into it, or if like you're driving somewhere and all of a sudden this instinct says, you know what, I'm going to turn down this street instead.
Mhm.
You need to trust it. And the more you trust this and the more you feel it, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And before you know it, you're just in fine tune with everything in life.
Exactly. And usually your higher self or your spirit guides or your angels, whatever you want to call that higher uh,
We
guiding
all have spirit guides around us to teach us and guide us into the right direction if we would only allow it and listen to it.
but they'll drop ideas that excite you, that you don't cancel it out by immediately saying, oh no, I couldn't do that. Oh no.
Listen, I'm on YouTube doing tarot readings. Now, if somebody said to me 5 years ago, you're going to be a tarot reader on YouTube, I'd be like, get out of here. You know what I mean? So I just think that people should follow their dreams. Don't ever give up. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. Don't let anybody tell you that what you're going to be look like a fool. You know what? I'll be my own fool. You know what? Believe what you do, love what you do, just like the Galactic Grandmother and Searchlight Tarot. Follow your dreams, whether it's music, art, traveling, cooking. It's going to lead you down a big path. And like the first tarot deck that was handed to me, I fell in love with it. I had no idea where it was going to lead me. But this is what I'm trying to tell people is just do what you love. Do what you love.
Oh, what a beautiful message.
Okay.
And I think that on that high energy, we're going to bring this conversation to a close. I hope that we can get together soon and have another heart-to-heart conversation.
It would be my
Just
pleasure.
raise my energy. I'm ready to have a great day.
It's like you're ready to take off to the galaxy right behind you. All right, April.
Yeah. Oh, I love you, Elena, and I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy we reconnected after all these years.
No.
Wow. It's just wonderful that you are such a legacy to what your mom began. You know, her
Yes, mom
legacy.
always said the apple never falls far from the tree. So we're all that way. But, and I'm going to say something too that, everyone that we meet in life, from whether we're 10 years old to 50 years old to 80 years old, they're playing an important part of your destiny. And like you and I met you 30 years ago, right? Maybe.
Actually, I met your mom in 19, oh my gosh, 80, 1980, I
Wow,
think,
I was
1982.
geez.
Are you in diapers?
I graduated high school in 1980. I was a class of 80.
Yeah.
Shh, don't tell anybody. But I don't care if people know about my age is great. I think age is beautiful. Age is wisdom. Because somebody asked me a while back and they said, if you can go back to any age, what would it be? And I really thought about that question for 30 seconds. And I said, there's a condition with that. If I can only take back all my knowledge and wisdom from that, what I've learned from over the years, because there's no way I want to go back to being 32 and having to go through all those hard lessons again.
I agree.
Man.
100%.
So I'll stay where I'm at. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And life is good and life is still, opening up full of opportunities and just lots
And
of
that's the attitude everyone needs to have every day. What does today hold for me in a positive light? What miracle is out there for me today? Even if you find a penny on the ground, it's a miracle. Keep
right.
believing that and get bigger and bigger and bigger and
Yeah.
bigger.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, what a delight it's been to speak with you. And I hope that our energy you've certainly got me all charged up. Um, hope that that carries over to the people that watch this.
So do I. Thank you, April.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. We'll
You're
talk to
welcome.
you soon.
My pleasure. Thank you. All right.